Welcome to Millennium TV 24. I am Kim Seabrook, and let's see what's going on in the news today. In New York City, interesting story. School enrages parents over masturbation, transgender, and consent classes for first graders. First graders, okay? Parents of kids at a New York private Dalton school, which costs around $55,000 a year, were left furious after first graders were shown a video about the pleasures of touching themselves during a sex education class who was led by Justine Ang Fonte. The clip is from the animated Amaze series, which includes a discussion about erections and how it feels good for little boys and girls to touch their private parts. The video was reportedly shown to 6-year-olds last autumn, sparking a string of complaints from parents. The situation reared its head against last week after it was revealed that Fonte also taught a scandalous workshop on porn literacy, an intersectional focus on mainstream porn at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School, which informs students aged 16 and 17 about orgasm gap statistics among straight and gay people. The head of Columbia Prep School, Dr. William M. Donahue, sent apologies for the workshop shortly after the newspaper had reported it. He told alarmed parents in an email that the content and tone of the presentation did not represent our philosophy, which is to educate our students in ways that promote their personal development and overall health, as well as to express respect for them as individuals. But teachers at Dalton have apparently been less apologetic about the school's controversial sex class, telling parents that they have misrepresented the content of Fonte's teaching. The sex educator also says she taught lessons about consent, warning pupils that their parents and grandparents should ask for permission before hugging them. That's absolutely absurd. Literally, parents are supposed to say to their kids, "May I hug you?" That's one of the parents. Kids have no less than 5 classes on gender identity. This is pure indoctrination. Another mom said about the sex education class for first graders that also featured lessons on gender identity. This person should be absolutely not be teaching children. Ironically, she teaches kids about consent. Yeah, she never even got consent from the parents about the sexually explicit and age inappropriate material about transgender to first graders. Many were also infuriated over the school's attempt to play mind games with parents while keeping them in the dark about what was going on in Fonte's class. They say, "We are not confused. We are in fact just seeing very clearly for the first time what a progressive education really means at Dalton," one of the previous quoted mothers said. The fact that the school then glassed parents into thinking we are confused is abysmal. The controversial masturbation video has been removed from the curriculum. That is absolutely absurd. And that's why I tell you, I encourage you to homeschool your children. But that's just me. And next, there's a curfew on indoor. The curfew on indoor dining has been lifted today across New York City. And guess what? You will be able to stay later at your favorite restaurant. New York State midnight curfew on indoor dining is being lifted today. So that goes for indoor cater events as well, which had a 1 a.m. curfew. Restaurant owners are hoping the lifted curfew will bring sales up and help them financially recover from the pandemic closures. Strict COVID-19 rules must still be followed, including social distancing, hand washing, and mask wearing when required. Governor Cuomo says the ease of restrictions is due to lower infection rates and, I guess, higher vaccination numbers. And next, in the Bronx, we have a youth and community leaders rally for climate justice. As the South Bronx is known for its poor air quality, high asthma rates, and food deserts, residents are calling for the passage of the New York Climate and Community Investment Act. The CCIA will generate 10 to 15 billion in revenue and invest in funds in green job creation, renewable energy, and investment in the communities that hit the hardest by the climate crisis. Low and moderate income New Yorkers in New York City would also automatically receive a yearly tax credit of $700. On May 21st, Bronx residents joined elected officials, Senator Alexandra Biaggi and Assembly members Amanda Septimo and Natalia Fernandez as they rally for climate, jobs, and justice. The event was organized by the Point CDC, Tree Age, a youth climate activist organization, and Jewish Climate Action Network. New York City is also, for many years, we have accepted the reality that air quality and climate issues have to come at the expense of industry, says Septimo, who is a Hunts Point resident. We have to begin prioritizing the South Bronx over the dollars made on its back. The CCIA will also fund energy rebates, community projects such as tenant-owned solar in frontline communities, public transit, and efficiency for public housing and schools, and the transition of fossil-dependent workers and communities. One person who experiences the poor health conditions in the South Bronx every day is 17-year-old Diara Mabe. Mabe is a member of activists coming to inform our neighborhood action, a youth leadership program at the Point CDC. And she's focusing on environmental and social justice issues in the South Bronx. Give it up for her, 17 years old. Because after seeing family members and friends struggle while breathing and accessing quality health food throughout her childhood, Mabe hopes that the CCIA gets approved. We live near the largest food market in the United States, but we live in a food insecure area, she explained. I'm here to support the CCIA because if the bill passes, the next generation of Bronx youth will not have to live through what I experienced. Yes, I appreciate her efforts, and food quality is definitely a huge issue right here in the Bronx, New York. So give it up to them in the Hunts Point and the Point in the Bronx. New York City police are hunting for a Jamaican father, Dwayne Gordon, who allegedly drugged and raped 3 of his stepdaughter's friends when they stayed at his Queens home for a sleepover. According to a senior police official with knowledge of the investigation, the 41-year-old dad is accused of committing the criminal acts at a Springfield Gardens home in Queens between October 2020 and earlier this month. Gordon was last seen on May 21st. Law enforcement told that the Glenyear has learned that Gordon attended a prominent high school in Kingston, where he represented his school in track and field and football. He works for an international airline in New York, but he has not showed up for work for several days. One of the victims told police she was given a white pill that made her pass out. She was then raped. The victims were all 13 years old, according to the New York Police Department. The accused reportedly hails from Bull Bay, which borders St. Andrew and St. Thomas, but there are no confirmed reports that he has fled to Jamaica. A trace on a phone call that he made to a friend a few days ago placed him in the Miami area of South Florida. New York police did release photos of Gordon on Friday, and they are asking anyone with information to call the Crime Stoppers hotline at 1-800-577-TIPS, and that's 1-800-577-8477. Unfortunately, we don't have a picture at this time, but if you search and you look, I'm sure you can find it online. Next, Mississippi reckons with ending pay boosts for the unemployed. Katrina Folks says she has tried everything she can, anything she could think of, to find work since losing her job in September because of the coronavirus pandemic. The 39-year-old mother from Hattiesburg used to do data entry at a law firm, and she has health issues that require her to work from home. She says she has been doing 3 interviews a week and bought Wi-Fi and a computer to try to make herself a stronger job candidate. But she hasn't been able to find the work that would accommodate her weekly doctor's appointments. She says, every time I put in an application and they call me, I seem to hit a brick wall, she said. Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves announced May 10th that Mississippi will opt out of the $300 a week federal supplement for people who lost their jobs during the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as other programs that offered extended support for the unemployed. At least 24 Republican-led states in the U.S. have now decided to end federal unemployment benefits early, months before they were set to expire in September 2021. That means millions of people will lose support. People in Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the country with the lowest paying jobs, will be amongst the first to lose benefits. Folks said that the governor's decision means her current weekly check of $491 will go down to nothing. She states that she's terrified, to be honest. I just can't live off of that. And about 90,000 people were receiving the $300 unemployment supplement for reasons related to the coronavirus pandemic at the start of May. That's according to the Mississippi Department of Employment. Also, Reeves, a Republican, said he made the decision to stop accepting the federal supplement after consulting with business owners and employees. Even though most capacity restrictions and other coronavirus regulations have been lifted for businesses, they still aren't able to recover fully because they can't find employees, said Irma Cook. And she's the director of the Office of Reemployment Assistant at Mississippi Department of Employment. Well, I could definitely understand that. Let's see, what else? Oh, employers are reaching out to Access for additional assistance because they have work available, but they did not have individuals coming in to interview for positions, Cook said. They don't have the workers to provide the service that they offer. The department has taken to social media in recent weeks to encourage businesses to report applicants who refuse job offers while still collecting unemployment. The state set up an online portal where employees can submit applicants for investigation. Cook says reports have surged since the state began pushing employers to make them. Charita McCarroll is Human Resource Manager at Great Southern Industries, and she is a packaging company in Jackson. She stated that she has used the state's portal to make reports, and she sees a lot of people of abusing the system. I could definitely understand. Unemployment has been high right now. A lot of people also still dealing with anxiety and having to deal with people after not being around people so long. So there's a lot of different factors when it comes to going back to work and things of that nature. So hopefully they can get the assistance. Hopefully they can get the employment that they need and let people work from home. It has been convenient, and it's less of a headache for both sides. Just let it keep going. What do we have next? An 18-year-old woman was charged with murder and cemetery death. An 18-year-old woman has been charged with murder after the body of a 69-year-old man was found in a North Carolina cemetery. Raleigh police on Saturday night announced the arrest of Maria Elizabeth Peña Echeverria. She has been charged with murder and is being held at the Wake County Detention Center. Police were called to Mount Olivet Cemetery in the city Friday night, where they found a seriously injured man. He was declared dead later at a nearby hospital, but on Saturday, police identified the man as James Lacey Taylor. But the investigation is still ongoing, and the cemetery is adjourned to Schneck Forest, which is managed by the North Carolina State University. Campus police have put out an alert Friday night saying witnesses saw a woman and two men leaving the scene, but nobody has any information on like we said, the investigation is still going on. All right, we're about to go into a commercial break. I am Kim Seabrook on Millennium TV 24. And let me just go back into what we're going to say. So in regards to the unemployment, like I stated, I think there's been a lot of issues going on with getting back to dealing with people, the finances and having the trust and going back to working for somebody, and dealing with anxiety. Anxiety is a big thing. So if we're going to remove the unemployment and you want people to go back to work, I think we need to offer some other resources as well. So, yes. And what we're going to do...
TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Yes, good, all good. Thank you, thank you.
I'm
Thank
doing
you for,
great.
having me here. It is my pleasure and honor to see you. Yes, I'm running for City Council from District 18.
Yes, you are running for City Council 18. And what, before we get into that, Mohammed, I know you came from Bangladesh in about 1982. You received a degree, and you have been, you also went to law school. You did quite a few things. Talk to us about your process before you even decided to come run for City Council.
Oh, yes, thank you. I have been involved with a lot of community work. Majority of my life I live in the Bronx. So with my foundation, within the foundation, we have been giving our school supplies, a lot of seminars and symposium promoting education since 2005. With other organizations, Bangladesh American Community Council, I am the president. I have been standing against hate and discrimination, and I am a great advocate for affordable housing and standing against hate and discrimination. And I also have a huge plan to end the homelessness throughout the whole city. If I am elected, I will bring a legislation to end the homelessness, and instead of that, with that money, we will I will build a massive housing throughout the city. Look, if in order to host a homeless in the shelter city, it costs the city more than $6,000 a month. But in order to give an apartment to an apartment, still now we have spent only $1,500. So it's much cheaper to give them an apartment instead of keeping them in the shelter. So
Right.
We have spent billions of dollars, and those money goes to the special interest people who are builders and billionaires. They make billions of money throughout the city by building and managing homeless shelters. So my plan, there will be no homeless shelter at all, and instead there will be massive affordable housing. Many people who are only on welfare roll, they also can get $250 as their housing voucher, as their housing allowance. So with that money, that should be their rent. They should pay only 1 month of equal to their income. Whoever making $300, their rent should be only $300 per week. Weekly income should they spend for the housing. It should be 1/4% of their total income. And then we don't have any homeless. And we have a huge resources that we are using for unnecessary sector. And also, in my district, there are a lot of people making less than minimum wage. Our income rate is competitively lower than throughout the city. In order to equalize them, we need to have a lot of job training, a lot of job center, and resources, and bring more money to the education, so that education is the equalizer. If you want to bring the same level, bring them the same education, same resources, same support, so that they can compete in the marketplace.
Okay, that's great news to hear. So you definitely help a lot of people with affordable housing and getting some monthly stipends to help with that as well. And what do you do in you have an office that's in the Bronx as well. And I know that you help people with who are unemployed, and you have opportunities for other people.
Sure, because I have a new immigrant welcome center since 2005. Anybody walk in, we applied them for Section 8 housing. And with the Section 8 housing, people don't know. There are a lot of resources, a lot of benefits. People don't know how to navigate them.
And you help with
Yeah, so I help them to navigate the government benefit. For example, a woman is a victim of domestic violence. She don't need any lawyer. She has a lot of resources. We have 5 justice and a lawyer, a legal psychotherapist, and finding a safe horizon. So all these benefits people do not know, and I have been helping these people to navigate their government benefits since 2005 throughout my office, and it has been free for many years. So I understand, I know, I have been living in this district most of my life. Like you said, I went to law school here. One of my daughter is an attorney. My son finished the law school, Pace University School of Law. He's joining with the Dasta Clark as an assistant district attorney in September. So I have a lot of stake involved. I'm a local landlord, local business owner. So I am the most qualified candidate in this race. Nobody did more than me. Nobody lived here more than me. Nobody supported the committee more than me. I have been a board member, local community board 9, last 11 years. I have been the 2 times interim chair of the board. I have been the chairman of I'm still the chairman of the land use and zoning committee. So I have a lot of hundreds and thousands of hour community service I have provided. I'm a former civil servant. So I have all the quality experience necessary to run a government, to be an elected official. I think it is only fair. If the people fair, if they look for the experience and qualified candidate, that's me. If they work based on their people, they know people their special interest, then could be different. And if people are ready to vote beyond their race, religious, and skin color, that would be me. I am the minority of the minority. This district, 60% is Hispanic, around 30% is African American. We Asian are 5 to 7% only.
Wow.
So I am the minority among the minority. If the people can give me a chance, believe me, I am productive. I know how to produce a dollar. I know how to bring to the high. On a personal level, I came here with $200. And I make millions here in this district, and I'm still making money, still supporting my family, supporting the community. I will only do great thing for the community as a whole. So in my plan, I will have a welcome center by using the discretionary fund. Right now, each city council member have $1 million discretionary fund. We don't even know how to use this money. With my plan, that money will be open to the people. We'll open a new immigrant welcome center in the middle of the district, so people come Haiti, people come from Puerto Rico. New immigrants can have something to stand on. So I have on-hand experience. I work for the city. I work for the small business. I work for the bank. I run a small business. I have every quality and experience that you need in order to be an elected official. So, Kim, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to express myself.
Yes, no, you are more than welcome. But before you do go, what areas is District 18 so people will know?
Yes. So let's say if you are in Million TV, right? So to your east, you can see that this side is Soundview, the other side is Zeriga, and the right side of mine is the Timon, and the left side is Water. So basically, Parchester, Soundview, Castle Hill, Jeriga, and Carson Point are the area that Ferry Point. These are the area covered by Council District 18, and we have 2.
Okay, and a lot of people are not educated. So when it comes to voting, a lot of people are not educated with the smaller elections, such as what you're going for, which is city council. You know, everybody just knows about president, vice president, and, you know, maybe the mayor of the government. What is your role as the city council? Why should they vote for you? I know that all the help that you're going to do, but what else would you do? What is the main role and what is the job of the city council?
Well, city council, New York City Council is the biggest city council in the world, you can say. New York City budget is sometimes much more than some state and some country. So the New York City Council member, they have something to say about the property tax. about the benefit of the welfare benefit, about school, about education, about shelter. So if whoever living in the city, there should be more focus on the city council than the national election. Because if your gas pipe, your gas line, your noise complaint, your property tax, your SCS, children service, adult service, everything provided by the city. And the money, look, if you have a house in the Bronx, let's say a small house, you pay at least $6,000 yearly property tax. And some people pay 30 to 40,000 yearly property tax. And each house they are paying.
Wow.
So we need to know how our money have been used. What benefit you are getting. Look at this pandemic. What benefit you get from the city? Everybody keep complaining. Trump did not give this. Federal government did not give this. But what about the state and the city? They just keep talking instead of providing service to the people. So I will be the role model, and I will be the biggest voice in the city council to bring the resources to the people instead of talking. I will be make the council accountable, that money that I'm paying $10,000 yearly for property tax, what I'm getting out of it. So we need people, voice in the city council, who know what is budget, how to spend the money, how proportionate the money, how to run the school. Because school should be number one priority. If you do not produce a good student, if you do not put skilled people here, and the whole thing will be frustrated. So I have a lot of great things to do. I'm a very successful man. I will bring that success to the city hall.
All right. Sounds good, Muhammad. I appreciate you. Let them know where your office is located or how they can find you, and any opportunities that you may have for people right now who are, unemployed or anything.
Sure. So if anyone helping some help unemployment, I staff your city all the time. We can help them, and I've been doing it since 2005. Like I said, maybe getting government benefit. And my office is 1222 White Plains Road. I have a second office, 2062 McGraw Avenue, starting from 2nd of June. So I have also a small opportunity, young people who want to join my team, $15 an hour, to call the people, knock the door, give the people the flyer. I'm reaching out to each and every one day and night. So I am more vigilant than anyone. I'm always out in the street. So I'll do my best to see if I can win the election. But regardless of that, I will be as long as I'm alive, I will be the voice for the community, voice for the voiceless.
I believe you. You sound passionate, and reading everything that you've been doing, I definitely see you being a big person and being what the community needs. Mr. Muhammad, what day is the day that they need to go out and vote for you?
Sure, the election date is June 22nd, but early vote starts from June 12th. So we have a 4 center for early vote. Early vote, there will be 23 centers on the day of election. But on the early vote, only four centers. Number 1 center is 1380 Metropolitan Avenue. The second center is 1000 Roosevelt Avenue, Sonia Sotomayor Center. Then Lafayette Avenue, 1980 Lafayette Avenue, Stevenson High School, that will be another center. And then 1694 East 174, another center. So there will be 4 centers open from June 12 to June 20, but final election is June 22nd. There will be 23 centers. You can tell the audience the same center they voted the presidential election, they voted the mayor election, same center they will be voting from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m.
Got it. All right, so I'll make sure to spread the information again for you, Muhammad. I appreciate your time here and everything that you're doing for the community. If for some reason you don't make it, but we hope that you do, just continue to do what you're doing. Your help is needed and it's greatly appreciated.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, this is Kim Seabrook. That was Muhammad Mujamdir. He is again going for City Council in District 18 right here in the Bronx, New York. And we're going to go into a commercial break. Be right back with Millennium TV 24.
Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV. Millennium TV, bridging communities worldwide. We broadcast diverse international content from Europe, Asia, Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Submit your own content to 1530entertainmentllc@gmail.com. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Welcome back to Millennium TV 24. I'm Kim Seabrook, and let's get into the Veterans and Memorial Day. Veterans return to Memorial Day traditions as pandemic eases and a pair of military vets navigate the hilly, meandering paths in a historic cemetery in Boston, searching out soldiers' graves and planting American flags in front of them. About 10 miles away, scores of other vets and volunteers do the same, placing more than 37,000 small flags on the downtown Boston Common. As a sea of red, white, and blue meant to symbolize all the Massachusetts soldiers killed in the battle since the Revolutionary War. It's an annual tradition that returns in full this year after being significantly scaled back in 2020 because of the pandemic. In Boston and elsewhere, this holiday weekend will feel something closer to Memorial Days of old as COVID-19 restrictions are fully lifted in many places. This Memorial Day almost has a different, better feeling to it, said Craig Dio. He's a 50-year-old retired captain in the Army Reserve, as he took a breather from his flag duties at the Fairview Cemetery earlier this week. We're breathing a sigh of relief that we've overcome another struggle. But we're also now able to return to what this holiday is all about, and that's remembering our fallen comrades. Around the nation, Americans will be able to pay tribute to fallen troops in ways that were impossible last year when virus restrictions were in effect in many places. It would also be a time to remember the tens of thousands of veterans who died from COVID-19. And yes, we salute you all and we thank you for all that you have done for this country. Now, interesting news, Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson asked High Court to void $2 billion TAC verdict, and Johnson & Johnson is asking for Supreme Court review of a $2 billion verdict in favor of women who claim they developed ovarian cancer from using the company's talc products. The case features an array of high-profile attorneys, some in unusual alliances, including former independent counsel Kenneth Starr, who is representing the woman who sued Johnson & Johnson. The nation's largest business groups are backing the company, and a Justice Father also makes an appearance because of his long association with the trade group for cosmetics and personal care products. The court could say as soon as Tuesday whether it will get involved. At the root, Johnson & Johnson argues that the company didn't get a fair shake in a trial in state court in Missouri that resulted in an initial $4.7 billion verdict in favor of 22 women who used the talc products or developed ovarian cancer. A state appeal cost more than half of the money out of the verdict and eliminated 2 of the plaintiffs, but otherwise upheld the outcome in a trial in which lawyers for both sides presented dueling expert testimony about whether the company's talc products contain asbestos and asbestos-laced talc can cause ovarian cancer. The jury found for the women on both points, after which Judge Burleson wrote that the evidence at the trial showed particularly reprehensible conduct on the part of the defendants. The evidence, Burleson wrote, included that the company knew there was asbestos in products aimed at mothers and babies, knew of the potential harm, and misrepresented the safety of these products for decades. 9 of the women have died from ovarian cancer. Lawyers for the plaintiff said Johnson & Johnson denies that its talc products contain cancer and has called that the verdict in the Missouri trial at odds with decades of independent scientific evaluations confirming Johnson's baby powder is safe, is not contaminated by asbestos, and does not cause cancer. The company also is the maker of one of 3 COVID-19 vaccines approved for the use in the United States. Health concerns about talcum powders have prompted thousands of U.S. lawsuits by women who claim asbestos in the powder caused their cancer. Talc is a mineral similar in structure to asbestos, which is known to cause cancer, and they are sometimes obtained from the same mines. The cosmetic industry in 1976 agreed to make sure its talc products do not contain detectable amounts of asbestos. Last year, a U.S. government-led analysis of 250,000 women found no strong evidence linking baby powder with ovarian cancer in the largest analysis to look at the question, though the study's lead author called the results very ambiguous. Very interesting. So a company who was definitely proved guilty for having cancer in their powder products also just made a COVID-19 vaccine. So what do we have next? Dems walk, stop Texas GOP's sweeping voting restrictions. Texas Democrats pulled off a dramatic last-ditch walkout in the State House of Representatives on Sunday night to block passage of one of the most restrictive voting bills in the United States, leaving Republicans with no choice but to abandon a midnight deadline and declare the legislative session essentially over. The revolt is one of Democrats' biggest protests today against GOP efforts nationwide to impose stricter election laws, and they use the spotlight to urge President Joe Biden to act on voting rights. But the victory may be fleeting. Republican Governor Greg Abbott, who had declared new voting laws a priority in Texas, quickly announced he will order a special session to finish the job. He called the failure of the bill deeply disappointed, but did not say when he would drag lawmakers back to work. We've said for years, many years, that we want more people to participate in our democracy, and it just seems that that's not the case. Democratic State Representative Carl Sherman said one by one, Democrats left the House chamber until there was no longer the 100 members quorum needed to pass Senate Bill 7, which would have reduced polling hours, empowered poll watchers, and scaled back ways to vote in Texas, which already has some of the nation's strictest voting laws. They gathered later outside a black church, driving home their anger over a last-minute change to the Texas bill that would have prohibited Sunday voting before 1 p.m., when many black worshipers go to the polls. Democrats said they did not go into the House vote intending to break quorum, but instead became fed up after Republicans repeatedly refused to take their questions while racing to pass the bill. It was a stunning turnabout from just about 24 hours earlier, when the bill seemed all but guaranteed to reach Abbott's desk, and the Texas Senate had signed off before sunrise earlier Sunday after Republicans, who hold an 18-13 majority in the chamber, used a bare-knuckle procedural move to suspend the rules and take the measure in the middle of the night. That is your politic news. Next, we have China easing birth limits further to cope with aging society. China's ruling Communist Party said Monday it would ease birth limits to allow couples to have 3 children instead of 2 in hopes of slowing the rapid aging of its population, which is adding to strains on the economy and society. The ruling party has enforced birth limits since 1980 to restrain population growth, but worries the number of working age people is falling too fast, while the share over age 65 is rising. That threatens to disrupt its ambitions to transform China into a prosperous consumer society and global technology leader. A ruling party meeting by President Xi Jinping decided to introduce measures to actively deal with the aging population, the officials said. It said leaders agree implementing the policy of one couple can have 3 children and supporting members are conducive to improving China's population structure. Leaders also agree that China needs to raise its retirement age to keep more people in the workforce and improve pension and health services for the elderly. Restrictions also stated that limited most couples to one child were eased in 2015 to allow two, but the total number of births fell further, suggesting rule changes on their own have little impact on the trend. Couples say they are put off by high cost of raising a child, disruption to their jobs, and the need to look after elderly parents. Demographers say official birth limits conceal what would have been a further fall in the number of children per family without the restrictions. The ruling party says it's prevented as many as 400 million potential births, averting shortages of food and water. But demographers say if China followed trends in Thailand, parts of India, and other countries, the number of additional babies might have been as low as a few million. I had no clue that that was even an issue in China. Very good news, very good information. Next, hundreds evacuated, some by chopper from New Zealand floods. Several hundred people in New Zealand were evacuated from their homes Monday, with some recounting dramatic helicopter rescues as heavy rain caused widespread flooding in the Canterbury region. Authorities declared a state of emergency after some places received as much as 40 centimeters, 16 inches of rain over the weekend and into Monday. Forecasters warned of possible heavy rain through Monday evening before conditions improved. The military helped evacuate more than 50 people, including several overnight in an NH-90 military helicopter. One man was clinging to a tree near the town of Deerfield when he jumped into the floodwaters and tried to swim to safety, but was swept away, the military said. Helicopters crew scoured the water for 30 minutes before finding the man and plucking him to safety. The military helicopter also rescued an elderly couple from the roof of their car. Another man was rescued by a civilian helicopter pilot Sunday after he was swept from his farm as he tried to move his stock to safety. Paul Adams told News Us that the stuff he thinks he got hit by a wall of water he didn't see coming. He was swept down the raging Ashburton River before managing to drag himself onto a fence and then into a tree. Another farmer spotted his headlamp and organized a rescue mission. The rescuers are fantastic, Adam told us, and adding that he was now back on his farm and as good as gold. He said that so far he only found about 100 of his herd of 250 animals alive. And in Israel, Egypt talks truce with Hamas rebuilding Gaza. Strip Egypt and Israel held high-level talks in both countries Sunday to shore up a fragile truce between Israel and the Hamas militant group and rebuild the Gaza Strip after a punishing 11-day war that left parts of the seaside enclave in ruins. Egyptian Foreign Minister Shukri received his Israeli counterpart Gabi in Cairo. The meeting is part of an effort to build on Israel-Hamas ceasefire reached May 21st and to revive Israeli-Palestinian negotiations, which have been dormant for more than a decade. Shukri's office said Egypt has not said how it would be able to restart talks. The hours-long visit was the first public one by an Israeli foreign minister to Egypt since 2008, according to the Israeli embassy in Cairo. Spokesman Ahmed Hafez said Shukri called for establishing an atmosphere to relaunch serious and constructive negotiations between the two sides. He also urged both sides to refrain from any measures that could hamper efforts to revive peace talks. They also discussed the release of Israeli soldiers and citizens being held by Hamas, Israel's top diplomat said. The 11-day war killed more than 250 people, mostly Palestinians, causing heavy destructions in coastal territory. Preliminary estimates that the damage in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Egypt was key in mediating a deal between the two sides. The officials said Egypt has offered guarantees that rebuilding funds will not find its way to Hamas, possibly going through an international committee led by Egypt or the United Nations that will oversee the spending. Kamel has also discussed the situation in Jerusalem and ways to ease tensions in the Holy City. That would include understandings at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, where Israeli police repeatedly clashed with Palestinian demonstrators, and how to prevent the planned eviction of Palestinian families from the Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood in East Jerusalem. And that's what the official said. Egypt last week invited Israel, Hamas, and the Palestinian Authority for separate talks in Cairo to consolidate the Cairo-mediated ceasefire and accelerate the reconstruction process in Gaza. And what do we have next? Next, in sports. You know I love sports. Here we go. Suns beat Lakers 192, even series after Davis hurt. Paul had 18 points and 9 assists. Devin Booker and Jay Crowder added 17 points apiece, and the Suns leveled the first round series with a 100-92 victory. Irvin dodges. Oh, next, really ugly in basketball. What's going on with these people here, huh? So, Irvin dodges. What does he dodge? Banning fans who mistreat NBA players won't solve the problem. It goes much deeper than that. Someone threw a bottle at him recently at a game just the other night. It's just the underlying racism and treating people like they're in a human zoo. Irving said after a water bottle was thrown at him following Brooklyn's 141-126 victory over the Celtics on Sunday night. Throwing stuff at people, saying things, there's a certain point where it gets to be too much, said Nets guard, who spent 2 years playing in Boston and revealed last week he was the victim of racism during his time in the city. You see, people just feel very entitled out here. As a black man playing in the NBA, dealing with a lot of this stuff is fairly difficult. You never know what's going to happen. Well, Irvin had 39 points and 11 rebounds to quiet the first post-pandemic full house at the TD Garden and led the Knicks to victory in Game 4 of their first-round playoff series. The win gave Brooklyn a 3-1 lead and a chance to clinch at home on Tuesday. So yes, salute, salute, salute. Love basketball. And last but not least, we have community news. If you are familiar with hip hop and in the Bronx, there was a rapper by the name of Fred the Godson who had passed away due to COVID-19. And after losing him, there was a group who decided to put something together, and mostly to focus on bettering your health, getting in shape, and doing better to fight the chances of not just COVID, but many other disease. And that's what they had to put out there. So the Wrecking Crew, New York City, decided to start riding bikes, and everyone started seeing them and wanted to join. They then joined another bike crew, which went from about 100 to 600 riders. So I want you guys to participate. The event is next Sunday. They're going to ride from 110th Street and Central Park to South Street Seaport. They do make sure that it's comfortable for all levels of bike riders. And they're going to meet up at 9 a.m., leaving at 10 a.m. If you want some more information, you can follow Rec Inc. Crew NYC on IG. Go out there, be active Sunday, and get going. They also have where you can rent bikes as well if you do not have your bike. They have all that information, so go ahead and join them, and let's get healthy. Work on your immune system, work on your bodies. Next, what else do we have? The same day, we have joined the Down Twins from the community. Only 12 years of age. They decided too much hate was going on there, and there has been an increase in the number of violence. So what they decided to do was put a Stop the Hate rally and spread positivity. That's going to be Sunday, June 6th at 12 noon, meeting at the Big Pun Plaza, ending at Poe Park. They would have some speakers. They're going to have free items like masks, sanitizers, things of that nature. But the goal is to spread knowledge on activities for the youth to keep them involved and help them on building themselves on what's going on so that they can continue to be a voice for our community. The children are our future. So look at these young kids putting this together. And also, they just might even be a poet on scene at Poe Park around that time. So again, please tune in, be there, and we'll see you next week. And my name is Kim Seabrook, Millennium TV 24. We appreciate your time. See you next time. Thank you.